By the end of this video, I'm literally going to break down 10 habits that separate the rich from the poor. Because on this channel, I get asked the same question constantly. Why is it that two people can work the same job, make the same money, and live in the same neighborhood? Yet one slowly builds wealth while the other drowns in debt? Well, here's the brutal truth. It's not luck. It's not even intelligence. It's habits. The tiny, boring, almost invisible things people do every single day that quietly separate the rich from the poor. And here's the crazy part. Most of these habits aren't taught in school. Your parents didn't explain them. And society actually conditions you to do the opposite. Which means unless you wake up to them, you'll keep sabotaging your own financial future without even realizing it. So if you're frustrated with money right now, this might be the single most important video you watch this year. Because once you see these differences clearly, you'll never be able to unsee them. Let's dive straight into it. Habit number 1, rich people play offense, poor people play defense. Here's exactly what I mean. Most people grow up thinking money is about survival. Pay the bills, cover rent, avoid debt collectors. That's defense. It's reactive. You're constantly running from financial problems like you're in a horror movie looking over your shoulder, hoping the monster doesn't catch up. The rich, they flip the script. They play offense. They treat money like a game to be won, not a threat to be avoided. Instead of asking, how do I stretch this paycheck just to survive? They ask, how can I use this money to attack, to grow, to multiply? Here's an easy example. Two people each get a $1,000 tax refund. The poor person pays off a late bill, buys some new shoes, maybe splurges on DoorDash because, hey, I deserve it. The rich person thinks, this is seed money. How can I turn $1,000 into $2,000? Maybe they buy dividend-paying stocks. Maybe they flip furniture on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe they invest in a course that levels up their skills. It's the same money, same starting point, but a completely different mindset. One uses money like a shield, the other like a sword. Now, here's what I want you to do. Next time money comes in, don't immediately ask, what do I need to pay? Ask, what can this create for me? And here's the wild part. Once you start playing offense with money, you also stop falling for the next trap that keeps poor people broke. It's sneaky, it feels good in the moment, but it silently bleeds your wallet dry. Let's talk about it. Habit number 2, poor people chase status. Rich people chase freedom. Here's where the trap shows up. Poor and middle-class people spend their money proving they're not poor. And if you're someone who's been watching our financial freedom videos, you know what I'm talking about here. They'll finance a car they can't afford, drop $300 on sneakers, blow half a paycheck at a nightclub, because looking rich feels better than quietly becoming rich. Meanwhile, the truly wealthy, they chase freedom. They'll happily drive a 10-year-old Toyota if it means they can quit their job 5 years earlier. They don't care about flexing in front of strangers at the gas station. Their status symbol is time. Example, imagine two co-workers. Let's call them Chad and Marcus. Chad leases a brand new BMW, rocks designer clothes, and lives paycheck to paycheck. Everyone thinks he's balling. Marcus drives a paid-off Honda Civic, eats at home most nights, and uses that money to buy rental properties. 5 years later, Chad is still leasing cars and juggling credit card debt. Marcus, he's pulling in passive income, and his investments are compounding while he sleeps. Who's laughing now? So here's your action step. Next time you're tempted to buy something to look the part, ask yourself, am I buying freedom or am I buying status? And here's the kicker. Chasing status doesn't just cost you money, it steals the one thing you can never get back, which brings us to the next massive difference. Habit number 3, the poor trade time for money, the rich trade money for time. This one hurts because most of us were raised on the idea that hard work is everything. Work more hours, grind harder, and someday you'll get ahead. But here's the harsh truth. If your income depends 100% on your time, you're stuck in the financial hamster wheel. You'll never escape because your time is capped. You only get 24 hours in a day, and unless you're charging $10,000 per hour, you'll hit a ceiling fast. The rich don't play that game. They ask, how do I make money without being physically present? That's why they love businesses, stocks, real estate, things that keep working even when they're asleep, on vacation, or binge-watching Netflix. Watch this example. Two people both make $50,000 a year. Person A works 50 hours a week in a job they hate. Person B spends 40 hours a week at their job, but also builds a YouTube channel, or flips products online, or invests $500 a month in index funds. After 5 years, person A is still stuck working for the same paycheck. Person B, their side hustle or investments are now generating extra cash flow, and that money is buying their time back. With that being said, here's your action step. Find one area in your life where you can swap money for time. Maybe it's outsourcing chores. Maybe it's using extra income to invest instead of just spending it. Every time you buy back an hour, you create space to build something bigger. All right, now I need to address something real quick. Most people will watch this video and not apply anything I'm telling you. And it's not just this. We've created an entire playlist on the fundamentals of financial freedom. Go back and watch those videos and make sure to subscribe to the channel to always stay updated. But anyway, here's where the real separation begins. Because once you stop trading time for money, you can actually focus on the next habit, one that almost nobody talks about, but it's the hidden backbone of every wealthy person you've ever met. Habit number 4. Poor people think short-term, rich people think decades. If you want to see the wealth gap in action, just look at how people handle $100. Poor mindset, what can this get me right now? Rich mindset, what can this turn into over the next 10 years? It's the difference between instant gratification and long-term compounding. Poor people rent everything. They rent their apartments, they lease their cars, they finance their phones. Rich people buy assets that last decades. Example, imagine 2 friends, Sarah and Mike. Sarah spends $200 every month on takeout. That's $2,400 a year disappearing into Uber Eats' pocket. Mike invests $200 a month in an S&P 500 index fund. Over 20 years, that turns into around $100,000 without lifting a finger. Same money, same starting point. But Sarah's stomach is happy for 30 minutes while Mike's bank account is growing for decades. So what's the action step? Well, before every purchase, ask, am I feeding my short-term cravings or my long-term freedom? Even shifting 10% of your spending into investments compounds massively over time. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Long-term thinking isn't just about money. It's about knowledge, because the next habit is the real cheat code the rich use that poor people constantly ignore. Habit number 5. Poor people stop learning, rich people never graduate. Most people treat education like it ends at 18 or 22. Diploma in hand, brain turned off, Netflix turned on. Done. But here's the difference. Rich people treat learning like oxygen. They're constantly upgrading, reading books, listening to podcasts, learning new skills, networking with smarter people. Why? Because the world changes fast, and they refuse to get left behind. Ever met someone who bragged about not reading books, like it's some badge of honor? Meanwhile, Warren Buffett reads over 500 pages a day. Bill Gates takes think weeks where he literally disappears with a stack of books. These guys are billionaires, but they act like students. Now compare that to your buddy who hasn't picked up a single new skill since high school and wonders why his paycheck hasn't grown. That's the separation in plain sight. So I got a simple solution, but it'll take some discipline. Dedicate 30 minutes a day to learning something that makes you more valuable. Doesn't matter if it's personal finance, coding, sales, or even public speaking. Compounded knowledge is like compounded interest. It snowballs. And here's the crazy thing. Once you start feeding your brain instead of starving it, you automatically unlock the next habit. One that explains why rich people seem lucky, while poor people call everything unfair. Habit number 6. Poor people rely on one income, rich people stack streams. Here's a harsh truth. If your only source of money is a paycheck, you're basically walking on a financial tightrope with no safety net. One bad boss, one layoff, one economic downturn, and poof, your income disappears. Rich people don't play that dangerous game. They stack income streams like pancakes at an all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet, business income, investments, side hustles, dividends, royalties, rental properties, even small trickles add up to a flood. Example, poor mindset. I have a job. I'm safe. Rich mindset. I have systems. If one shuts down, 3 more keep running. It's why someone making $60,000 from one paycheck feels broke, while another making $60,000 split between 5 income streams feels secure. The second person isn't relying on one boss for survival. They've built resilience. So this is your action step. Start small. Could be flipping items on eBay, offering a freelance skill, or investing $50 in dividend-paying stocks. The goal isn't to get rich instantly, it's to build multiple legs under your financial table so it doesn't collapse when one breaks. And here's the wildest part. Once you build more than one stream, you realize something shocking about your money, that it was never just about the dollars in the first place. Habit number 7. Poor people avoid risk. Rich people manage it. Here's where psychology kicks in. Poor people see risk and immediately run in the opposite direction. Investing? Too risky starting a business? What if it fails? So they play it safe, which ironically keeps them broke. Rich people? They know risk is unavoidable. The difference is they learn how to manage it. They study, they prepare, they take calculated bets. They're like professional poker players. They don't avoid the table, they learn the odds, and play smarter than everyone else. Example, let's say someone has $5,000 saved. Poor mindset, I can't invest this, I might lose it. Rich mindset, if I invest $5,000 wisely, even if I stumble, I'll learn and grow faster than hiding it in a savings account. Here's the irony. Avoiding risk is the riskiest move of all. Inflation eats your savings. Job security vanishes overnight. Playing it safe is actually playing to lose. Here's the solution. Start with measured risks. Instead of throwing all your savings into crypto, maybe you put a percentage into index funds. Instead of quitting your job tomorrow, maybe you build your side hustle nights and weekends. The point isn't to gamble, it's to grow by stepping into controlled discomfort. And here's where things get spicy, because once you stop fearing risk, you gain access to the next habit, the one that separates the average earner from the person who builds generational wealth. Habit number 8, poor people spend. First, save later. Rich people save first, spend what's left. Here's a brutal truth. Most people don't have a saving problem. They have a spending priority problem. And this is an important point I've been wanting to tell you. Poor people get a paycheck and immediately start swiping. Rent, car payment, Friday night pizza, Amazon impulse buys, and then, if anything's left, they save. Spoiler, nothing's ever left. Rich people flip that order. They treat saving like a bill they owe themselves. Money comes in, they pay themselves first. Automate savings. Invest before spending. And here's the crazy part. Once you build the habit, your brain adjusts. You don't miss what you never see. Example, 2 people both make $3,000 a month. Alex saves whatever scraps are left after bills and fun. By the end of the month, maybe $20. Jordan auto transfers 10% into investments on payday. Jordan still pays bills, still lives life. But in 10 years, Jordan has a 6-figure nest egg, while Alex is still saying, I'll start saving when I make more. Here's your action step. Automate your savings the moment money hits your account. Even if it's $50, build the muscle. Don't wait until you make more, because if you can't save at $3,000, you won't magically save at $10,000. And here's where it gets interesting. Once you master saving first, you unlock the next habit, one that proves money is less about math and more about psychology. Habit number 9, poor people let emotions control money, rich people use systems. Let's be honest, money isn't logical, it's emotional, and poor people get wrecked by those emotions. Stress spending, panic selling, lifestyle creep the moment they get a raise. It's chaos. Rich people, they build systems, automatic investing, budget rules, spending caps. Instead of relying on willpower, they create structures that protect them from themselves. Imagine 2 investors. Both have $10,000 in the stock market. The market drops 20%. Poor mindset, panic. Sell everything. Lock in the loss. I knew investing was a scam. Rich mindset, trust the system. Keep contributing. Ride the wave. Fast forward 5 years, markets rebound, and the disciplined investor doubles their money, while the emotional one is still broke and bitter. It's the same with spending. Poor people swipe their card when they're sad, bored, or stressed. Rich people set rules. I only spend 5% on fun, or I only buy luxuries when my investments pay for them. So what's the action step? Build one system today. Automate savings, auto-pay your credit card, or set a rule. I only buy non-essentials after a 24-hour pause. Remove emotion, insert structure. And here's the wildest part. Once your money runs on autopilot, you free up mental energy for the final habit, the one that takes you from rich to generational wealth levels of rich. Habit number 10, poor people network horizontally, rich people network vertically. Here's the sneaky one almost nobody talks about. Poor and middle-class people spend their time with people just like them. Same income level, same mindset, same problems. Horizontal networking, it feels comfortable, but it keeps you stuck. Rich people, they network vertically. They seek mentors, partners, coaches, investors, people who are 5, 10, 20 steps ahead. Why? Because proximity is power. Being in the right room can shortcut decades of trial and error. Example, let's say you hang out with 5 broke friends who complain about the cost of gas. Guess what? You'll probably stay broke too. Now imagine you join a mastermind or even just a local investing group. Suddenly you're surrounded by people talking about real estate deals, stock options, business scaling. That shift in conversation literally rewires your brain. So here's your action. Step: audit your circle. Who's adding to your growth? Who's holding you back? Find one person doing what you want to do and learn from them. Even if you can't access billionaires, there's always someone 1 or 2 steps ahead willing to share the playbook. The habits that separate the rich from the poor aren't about luck, genius, or some secret handshake in a country club. And don't sit there thinking the rich just do these once in a while. They live them daily. Meanwhile, the poor keep repeating the same habits that quietly trap them. And here's the wildest part. Even if you pick just one of these habits and lock it in, your financial life will start shifting faster than you think. So this is what I want you to do. Pick one habit from this list. Call your shot. Comment the words, "I will be rich," so I know you're serious about it. Because here's the truth. Building wealth isn't just about what you do. It's about what you stop doing. And I'll show you exactly what to cut. Because if you really want to go deeper, the next video you need to watch is this one right here. 15 Secret Habits of Self-Made Millionaires. Just click the video on the screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.